Good numbing. Hello YouTube, hope you're doing well. We're back with Atelier Shallie today. I didn't realize it was only like session 9. For some reason I thought we'd done like way more streams of this game. But no, we're only on session 9. I felt a little off most of last week. It has come back with a vengeance today. It's why I ended up taking Tuesday off as well, because I wasn't quite 100% with it. But I feel like shit. I am struggling today, if I'm honest with you gamers. So this stream will probably only be like at most 2-ish hours long. Maybe a little over 2 hours, we'll see how it goes. But I'm just kind of like there. But I wanted to stream anyway today because I really want to get Shallie done this week. Like, it's kind of imperative. Just because if I don't get it done this week, it'll be another long wait before you guys see it again. And I know I've been keeping you guys waiting for too long anyway. Where, like, there's been other things that have come out, or I've not always been in the mood to play more, etc, etc. It's just, like, I need to, like, power through this. Last time we left off, though, we got Keithgriff on the team. In fact, you see, we're basically done with this chapter. In fact, if I leave and re-enter, I can go straight to chapter 9, which I will. There were a couple of small things I needed to do off screen to like finish the completion, but I just did it to save the time. But we should, touch wood, be okay to finish the game this week. As far as I'm aware, there's only 10 chapters, and we're entering chapter 9 now. I'm not going to try and go for the true ending. I just want to get a good ending. So something above, like, bare minimum, basically. Lottie, what is it? I've come to invite you. Invite? To what? To the festival! Stellar's traditional water festival. Water festival? You know how Stellar is famous as a city of water, right? That's why the entire city goes swimming around this time of year in gratitude. Huh? Is that really okay? They're in the middle of a drought. That's what I thought too, but Mr. Perriand and Raoul said stopping it would only make people more anxious. Also, when we finish, like I do with a lot of Atelier games, I will look up what the true ending is if I don't get it, which I don't think I will. Because I think you have to, similar to like Liddy and Sully, you have to like fulfill every single condition for every single other ending at once, and I haven't even looked at what those conditions are. Where this game doesn't have a time limit, I've been taking it a lot more lax anyway. And where I'm not enjoying it as much, I'm not that fussed about like hunting down like the special endings. I see. Yes, that's true, but also, it seems Lord of Water permitted it as well. In that case, it'd be rude not to celebrate it. Exactly. Wait, Aisha, how do you know what the Lord of Water thinks? Don't be shy, you can just go ahead and ask her too. I see. Wait, there's no laughing matter. Are you going to participate too, Aisha? Well, I actually have to go somewhere nearby for an investigation. It's really important, so I can't delay it. Oh, that's too bad. Now, back to the main point. Here, go change. Change into what? Just do it. Oh my god. Why? What is this, Lottie? Why'd you only ask that now? A swimsuit? Like, why you only ask this now? Like, after you already put it on. Also, this poor girl's like she's crying. Let her change back. I know that, but I've never worn a swimsuit before. What? Lucian doesn't have swimsuits? How do you swim? We don't really swim like that. We even wear something thin when we bathe. No kidding. Well then, this will be your swimsuit debut. I'm not really used to showing this much skin in public. It's embarrassing. Don't worry, everyone will be dressed like that in town today. You won't stand out at all. Let's go. I already sensed the joke. I already sensed that the joke's going to be they're the only two like this. It's cute that they've still got like their headpieces on, so it's like, you know, it's still them. If the Shaleys lost their like hat or headpiece, then would they still be Shallie? I don't know. Oh, it's supposed to be another like heartfelt scene. Jesus Christ, Shallie, your jiggle physics. They really wanted to make sure that was noticed in the animation, huh? And I gotta keep talking because this might be... I've noticed that no one else has changed. Wilbel's still dressed as normal. She's like, don't fucking include me in this. That's what that... Wilbel's like, don't include me in this. No one else is... They're going to reach your friend and go, huh, we really were the only ones dressed in swimsuits, huh? This is cute, though. Wow, literally no one else. I get it, they're the main two characters, so they're the only two they're actually really going to be making alternate costumes for, but it is funny. Like, in story context, it's just like, man, they really are the only two in swimsuits. They are surrounded by fully dressed people. Charlotte was right to be a little embarrassed. She'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ, we're the only ones. Why did you make me do this? Stera, why did you make me do this? I was like, Green Shallie is just like, yeah, fuck it, just put the bikini on. Like, no, like, fear. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, like, no fear whatsoever. Just fuck it, go for it. This is a gold trophy? What do you mean? Enjoyed the water festival. Gold trophy. Oh, Master, having fun? You sound way too excited. Oh, yeah, it's a festival. Why are you in such a crummy mood? Anyone would be grumpy if you called them over only to strip off their clothes. Then how should I have invited you? You could have just asked like a normal person. You seem to be having fun, Wilbel. Linka? Oh, my queen. Look how graceful she is on the far right. Over there. Yes? You don't seem to be enjoying yourself very much. That's not true. I like the water festival a lot. I'm having a blast. You could at least crack a smile. This is just how I look. The water is so cold. You okay, Miruka? Need a towel, or do you want to put on some clothes? Jiri, if you're worried... Oh no! Is the water too cold? Making your feet ache? Well, I have something for you. I don't want it. Hey, now don't say that, just take a look. I don't want it. You can at least take a peek. I do not want it. Oh, so cold. Hey, Miruka, Katla, you guys need to be more grateful for the water. It's the water festival, you know. This is why I said I'd just wait at home. Oh, this is lovely. I'm glad we have water to use like this. Water is incredibly important to the people here. Yes, it is. We all need to protect it. To be honest, I would be a lot like Linka if it was like a big like water party like this. I would be kind of sat on the side of my feet dipped in, just kind of chatting to whoever. Like, I wouldn't be like getting in the water that much. I don't mind having a swim, but I would be a lot more like Linka, where I just kind of what the fuck are those two doing back there? Well, I'd be a lot more like Linka, but also, I'd just like sat on the side, just chatting to whoever. Chapter 9: The Darkness of Alchemy. So you're saying the device from the past is buried under Stellard? Yes. Then the cause of the drought was nearby the whole time. It is hard to believe. Is it possible to get where the device is? There's no doubt a path exists. I can't remember what voice I gave Keith Griff. The problem is the entrance. I think every single time I voiced Keith, I've given him a different voice. Where's the entrance? The ruins of frozen time. The trouble is, like, if it's a character I love and I'm really vibing with, the voice I give them, I will make a real conscious effort to remember for the next time. If it's a character I'm not that fussed about, I will make up their voice again when I get to them, because I won't remember. And Keith Griff is one of those characters where it's like, I am very whelmed with Keith Griff as a whole across the whole trilogy. Like, he's very like, for me personally. And so I don't really commit his voice to memory. What? No way! There's an enormous gate there. It has to be opened first. How do we open it? Opening a locked door is the same. No matter what size of the door, you need a key or destroy it. Can we really destroy it? I've already tried. No, we can't. I'll pretend I didn't hear that. Sounds like the only way is to find the key then. Yes, automatons. Automatons? If you're curious, it's a singing type of automaton, a different model from myself. What? Automatons can sing? After examining the automaton left at the factory gate, there's no mistake. My apprentice's investigation backs it too. Ayesha's investigation? Judging by the area surrounding the gate, including the one left, a total of 6 singing automatons exist. So the gate will open if we gather all 6? The resonance generated by the sounds made by all 6 will open the gates. But it's not like it's easy to find the automatons. There was the one in Far Village, the one they called a goddess. And then there's still 4 left. There's nobody who collects things like that either. Wait. What's wrong? There is someone! Someone who's really into that kind of stuff. Huh? Who? Albert! By the way, Belle, I heard an interesting legend in Far Village. In Far Village? Aisha sure does a lot of work. Escher's amazing too, but I expect no less from Keith's right hand. You need to work harder too. I wonder if I'll ever become like Aisha or Escher. I'm getting worried. Willpower is your only redeeming feature. You'll do fine. Mr. Willbell, that's not helping at all. So what is this legend? Far Village is in a region controlled by the Lord of Water, but do you know of an automaton enshrined there? Yes, we do. Oh, yeah. That's the automaton that guards the altar of the goddess, although the villagers call her a goddess too. Legends speak of a goddess blessed by the Lord of Water. Doesn't that sound interesting to you? A goddess blessed by the Lord of Water? Did you find any more details? Unfortunately, that's all I found. The legend itself has been long lost. But if we think of that automaton as a key to a device from the past age, you can look at it this way. In the past, the Lord of Water protected this land. Okay, so the collecting the automatons in this game is the equivalent of collecting the flowers in Ayesha and collecting the picture, like the pieces of like that stone monument in Escher and Logi. It seems to be a common thing with this trilogy that there's always a thing you need to collect for the true path. So we need to go for Crystal Valley. Recover the one in the shrine. The fuck's Crystal Valley? I missed the hotbar menu. Okay, there we go. So I kind of missed like the hotbar menu from like some of the later games, but you can just bring up a long list of all the locations and you can just scroll through and find it. Let me just try and find this. Oh, I can immediately see why I probably missed it. Because this is the area that's like super big, isn't it? Like the next room is just like a gargantuan open space. I can absolutely see how I missed it. Alright, well I guess we just poke around until we spot it. Oh, here we are. Lotte, there's an automaton. I wonder if this one Mr. Keith was talking about. Less items available at Linker's shop? The fuck? Linker? What's going on here? Speaking of, it is a new chapter, so I should probably check the shops. Cool, okay. What's wrong, Lottie? You don't look very cheerful. Aisha. I see, this is about Belle. Yeah, whenever I see her, I remember how she said she won't be looking after me forever. It's true that Master Wilbur is a magician and I'm not, but I thought we could stay like this forever. When I see you and Keith, I start thinking that even more. I really am just a weak coward. Well, that's not true. This just shows how much you like Belle, Lottie. Is that really all? You see, a master and apprentice are like a senior and junior working toward the same goal. That's right, thinking about that does make me feel a bit better. You and Stella are already Keith's apprentices too, you know. What, we are? Even Keith said that it's worthwhile teaching you. I don't know about that. But you two won't be with Keith forever, will you? That's true. That's just how Master and Apprentices are. Sometimes you have to take different paths to reach a goal. Keith and I have times like that, and we sometimes work independently. I think that'll keep happening too. I thought you and Keith were always together. Oh, the world is a big place. We wouldn't be able to investigate everything we wanted to do if we're together. But we're looking for the same things, so I know we'll meet again somewhere. It'll be the same for you and Belle too, if the time comes when you go your separate ways. I see, that's right. No matter what happens, Master Wilbur will always be my master. It looks like Belle found a great apprentice. I'm a little jealous. I wanted to ask you this for a while, but how did you become alchemist like you are now? I want to know too! Let's see, in my case, there was something I wanted to accomplish. Something to accomplish? Yeah, with me I always wanted to fly, and also bring happiness to everyone in Coal Seat. As I concentrated on that work, I started liking alchemy more and more. I think that's about it. For me, there was something I wanted to obtain. No, it was something I needed to obtain. I kept moving forward, engrossed in that thought, and ended up here before I knew it. Or something like that. I see. I feel like I've been going forward blindly and getting nowhere. Me too. That's not true. When people really want to do something, they can work harder than they think they're capable of. You just don't realize it when you're doing your best. There's no need to be worried, you're progressing just fine. Is it really how it works? Yeah! Both of you are working super hard. It's not a wasted effort at all. Really? I feel a little better. Alchemy isn't the power of dreams. We alchemists are capable of creating all kinds of things. However, we're borrowing the hidden power of materials in this world. That's why we need to give them in return too. I think we should help this world move in a better direction, even a little. Yeah, me too. Alchemy has taught us a lot, and I want to fulfill my promise with everyone. I never even thought of that. I see, you're right. Me too. I feel like I feel like the things I want to do... No, the things I should do have grown. Oh, is this the fucking... Yep. Never gets old. I wonder if there's actually something like if you do that like 100 times, you'll actually succeed or some shit. Hey Esha, do you ever feel homesick at all? I can't say I'm not homesick, but I want to do what I can right now to the best of my abilities. Also, it's not like I can never go back. Don't you agree, Shallie? Yeah, that's right. I feel very similarly. To tell the truth, when I first arrived here, I wanted to complete my goal as quickly as possible and go home. But after finding things that I need to accomplish here, all that impatience vanished into thin air. You're both strong. I talk big, but I've never really gone far from home. If the time comes when I need to do that, I wonder if I could still manage to do my best in a faraway place. Shallie, you can't call someone strong just because they're working in a place far from home. That's right, Lottie. You just happen to need to work in Stella this time. You're plenty strong too. I think so too. Both of you Shallies are really strong. If Coal Seat was about to be consumed by the dusk, I'd probably feel the same way as you. I've been watching you this whole time. I can see why you have the strength to protect... Stella. You know, I actually think I've learned to be stronger from you two. Sure. That is a little embarrassing. The Alchemists of Dusk.
At first glance, this appears to be the seed of an ordinary plant. However, the essence of the ancient civilization is compacted into this small object.
Wait, really? Doesn't look like that at all. Yeah, not at all. You say it's not a normal seed. I'm interested to know more.
Components, structure. I researched it from all possible points of view, but much of it evades my understanding. However, if it's true that the Geosis controller gave this to you, it cannot be unrelated to those functions.
In other words, there's no mistake that this is a plant seed, but it could greatly affect the land it's planted in. The environment of the land? What effects could it have?
That's the part I couldn't decipher.
Considering the function of Geosis, it could rapidly exhaust nutrients in the land. The risks are high.
Exactly. However, if we build a hypothesis, assuming that it retained its original use...
Flaumu said that this seed was new life. That's why it...
Listen to the end before making objections. What was the original goal of Geosis? Think about it.
To revive a barren land, right? Oh, then that means... That could be a possibility. We don't understand the inside completely, so it's only a possibility though. But if this seed is the key to stopping the advance of dusk, it would be wonderful.
I'll return this for now. It seems to be personally important to you.
Yes, but are you done with it? You might figure out more if you checked it out more.
I completed all of the investigations I could. Just wait for the results of the analysis. I found a rather interesting research subject here. I haven't spent such a fulfilling time in quite a while.
And that's why I surveyed the area to the southwest of Stellard, but I found out something kind of interesting. What? By the southwest? Do you mean the Dusk Sea? Yeah, I also investigated the village past it. Aisha, you've done some crazy things since a long time ago, but it sounds like you've gotten worse. Isn't this normal? Anyway, about the terrain around here. The village past it, isn't that around Lucian Village? How was it? Yeah, I went there. It seems to be having trouble, but everyone was still living there. I see, that's a relief. That's great, Stella. Yeah. Okay, I know there's a way to help them anyway. In other words, the Stellard region is serving as a big water source. Or more like everything from the eastern continent to Stellard. The Lord of Water is in the eastern continent. This must be related. I think so. Belle, you're the one who taught me that spirits are related to this world after all. Well, pretty much. So the waterway source from here crosses the Dusk Sea and continues past it? To my village as well? Yeah. At one time in the past, water flowed into the Dusk Sea, then branched into various directions from there. This is just a guess, but I think the Dusk Sea was originally some sort of lake, a very big one. Without a map from the past or a detailed geological survey, we won't know for sure though. Even if the Dusk Sea dried up, the waterway underground still remained. That's great. Yeah, I can probably return to the village now, and I feel like there's more that we can do. Considering all this, if we can do something about the water source here, everything will be solved. I don't know about everything, but if all goes well, it could give us a chance to do something about the dusk. Aisha, you've really been influenced by your master. You were way more easygoing before. Hey, don't say that, Belle. I've grown too, you know. Master? Master Wilbur, what's wrong? What happened? It happened. Wait, was someone picking on you, Master? No, you idiot. I was finally recognized by the Grand Witch. That's it? Oh, I was worried for a moment. Wait, didn't you just say something really amazing? If I recall, the Grand Witch was supposed to be really scary and she recognized you. That's right. I suddenly received a message a little while ago saying you did well. In the past, I was disinherited. I thought I'd never see the day when she would have words like that for me. Does that mean it's because you formed a contract with the Lord of Water? Yeah, that seems to be the main reason. She even took back disinheriting me. Master, shouldn't you be happy about this? I don't know what to do. Are you stupid? Why are you crying over it? Of course I'm happy. Super happy. But to be honest, I still don't feel like it actually happened. I've done all this training to have my power recognized, but now I feel like I wasn't very significant. Even though the Grand Witch says I'm a full-fledged magician, I don't feel like it at all. Isn't that weird? Well, I'll need to think long and hard about how to use this power and figure it out for myself. Master Wilbur, you're so cool. Yeah, you really have grown. You aren't little anymore. You really are the amazing Belle. Aisha! Hey, Belle, the first time we met, I never even thought we'd have a future like this in store for us. Aisha, you're unfair! Congratulations, Master. It's making me want to cry too. Cute. Every time we're here, I have a moment where I'm like, what the fuck's this red dot doing? Why is there an enemy? And I remember, no, it's a training dummy. Oh, that's... By the way, when this is over, do you plan to go to Coal Sea and meet Neo? Yeah, that's what I intended to do, but... Wait, it's just a guess, but did you leave Neo alone back there intentionally? Oh, you realized it. The Stellar region has become a very popular topic. You and Keith should have already known that there's a safe city there. Isha, you're really sharp. To be honest, that's right. Neo said that Coal Sea was very pleasant to live in, so I wanted her to stay in a town she's already accustomed to. I never expected to meet you, the person who was looking after her, though. Yeah, me too. But can you explain why you did this? Well, to tell the truth, I want Neo to live as normal of a life as possible. Keith and I basically have to hide from society, but Neo's different. But weren't you traveling together? Neo hadn't decided what to do with her life yet. That's why I want to make it so she can choose for herself. Choose for herself? Yeah, if Neo decides it for herself, I wouldn't mind if she lives like us. You can use alchemy anywhere. If Neo finds a path in life among other people, then that's wonderful too. You don't feel lonely? I do feel lonely. But the people you cherish still watch over you, no matter how far away you are, right? Oh, you mean clone? That's... Of course. I do want to see her from time to time, but I can always go and see her. I think it's similar to that. I see. Neo is a great older sister. That's nice. I want to be included too. I will be included someday. And the other thing is we need to go back to the... Hang on, before I go. Anything for me? Sure. Sure. General Beast, sure. Sure. Fucking sure. do that while we're traveling. That's gonna be for beasts, isn't it? So. Yeah, that's just beasts in general. Oh, that's both. That's both the beast and the bear. Let's go get that one. I know it's Heaven's Vine, so it might not be everywhere, but still. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god, that's a lot of experience. That was a lot of quests I guess got done. That 3 requests that got done in 1? Oh my god. Just leave. Oh, that was... I didn't realize it was that high. Okay, there we go. Sorry, that menu on the side. I was like, is it gonna fucking stop soon? I guess we need a mountain horn specifically. Oh, probably the big guy here. Yes. And then we need the elemental. We're just supposed to be in the neighborhood, fuck it. Immediate! Oh, this thing's nearly dead. We don't need to, Yeah, so there's no way he was going to fit all of that shit. Hang on. We'll save, pick up our automaton from the village, and then head back. There it is, the automaton. But can we really take it? No, we can't. We can't just take it on your own. There you are, goddess. What are you doing to her? Ah! Told you. Can you leave this to me? I'll try talking to them. Aisha! That reminds me, you're investigating the automatons in this village. Yep, that's why I think they'll let us borrow it if I talk to them. Will they really let us borrow it that easily? About the automaton, to tell the truth, they'll let us borrow it. Aisha, you must have be trusted deeply by the villagers. I don't know if it's trust. What did you say to them? That the goddess blessed by the Lord of Water requires this automaton from the altar. And that the goddess would surely bless the village as a result. See? They understood, just like I said. What? You lied to them? That doesn't seem right. Like, the more important thing is taking this automaton. Yeah, but Aisha really is amazing in many ways. You said you wanted to examine my automaton? But what exactly are you going to do? She may not seem as lovely as Odelia, but she's a very, very special treasure to me. Don't worry, it's just a quick check. Wow, she sang! Isn't she wonderful? I get to hear her lovely singing voice once in a while. There's no mistaking it. Albert, we have to borrow this. Okay, I don't... What? We're done here. We should get looking somewhere else. Wait a minute, why? Why are you taking her away? Sorry, Al, this is an emergency. We'll return her later. We'll be using it for its original purpose. You don't need to apologize. You already have Odelia! Why would you take Odetta too? It's awful! Odetta, did you name this automaton yourself, Al? Obtained Odetta. This is all the automatons, right? Yes, most likely. Let's go. I want to start the experiments. I wonder what will happen. Oh, I probably shouldn't be, but I'm really excited. Uh-oh. Wait a minute, I'm going too. Al, why? Because I'm worried about my own data, that's why. Oh, let's go turn these in. Fucking Hom wants sweets, of course. Go to the ruins of Frozen Time and set the automatons in place. Now I will save again, though, actually. In case, like, this triggers a boss fight, which there's a good chance it might. You haven't had, like, a proper, like, in-story boss fight for a good long while now, so I kind of feel like we're due. That's the last one. Don't treat Odetta so roughly. You aren't doing anything dangerous that could harm her, right?
It should start now. That is, if my theory is correct. Wow, they're really singing. I didn't know if it would come all together in a natural song when all of them were together. So this is the altar of the goddess. But then who's the goddess? You'll find out when you enter. Lottie the gate. What is this? Let's go. The truth is in there. I don't think Odetta had so much power. Oh, I really do love you, Odetta. What about him? Leave him. He won't be of any use inside anyway. It's not that dangerous out here, so he should be fine. I guess so. What is it, Cortis? I was thinking about how our ship is able to travel on the ground like this. It's really amazing. Where's this coming from all of a sudden? Well, there's nothing in Illusion Village. It's like time itself is frozen in place there. Yet we have a ship like this. Don't you think it's strange? What's wrong with that? Even Stella doesn't have a ship like this. I just thought it's strange how we were able to build it. It must have been destiny for someone in the village to travel to a far-off land. You're saying this ship was built by destiny? That's ridiculous. Well, I guess I can't rule that out for sure, after seeing this. If we're able to build a ship like this, maybe our homeland isn't so backwards after all. This is a city underground. A mere shadow of the past civilization, I'm afraid, is an example of the arrogance of mankind. Do you not like people, Keith? Why do you ask? Whenever you mention things, you always seem to feel that way. Human history is a record of the same errors over and over again. We're capable of learning and thought, and yet everyone keeps making the same mistakes. You'll learn that after you've been around for a while, whether you want to or not, and it'll disgust you. And yet, you don't quit being an alchemist or seeking the truth. I wish to know the truth of this world, not humanity. The truth of the world. Have you had enough pointless idle chatter? We should keep moving. Oh, I guess I never did go back home, huh? We have so many items that MP consume, it's no surprise. I might actually go back home. I might actually go back home just to get the MP back.
Whilst we're doing this, for those who've been like keeping up with the metaphor streams, I said at the end of the last stream that I was going to clean up the side quest off screen so we can try and finish it next time we play it. I have done that. I did that last night, but I did actually record a little bit of it. There was a quest line, and I didn't realize it was basically going to unlock the some of the main game super bosses, because I thought the super bosses was just going to be the harder version of the final boss, which I'm aware of, and that locked up book in the academia. I thought they were going to be the only two super bosses. No, I learned the hard way. There's a lot more super bosses in Metaphor, so I recorded them all and we'll put them together in a video. Also, hey, one man, hope you're doing well. I am going to quickly go back and get my my supplies and MP back, and then we'll explore the Geofront properly. Okay, yeah, we got everything back. Let's go. Hope you're doing well as always. So yeah, the Trial of the Dragons, which is an actual quest line and cute reference to Persona 4 in Metaphor ReFantazio, all of that I manually recorded and will upload that on Sunday. Up to see my top 5. Yeah. Yeah, we just got to the Geofront. We just started chapter 9. Oh, we also did the hot spring today. Oh, not hot spring. The water festival, sorry. Which is crazy that that's a gold trophy. Like, I don't feel like I did anything for it, and I was just like, oh, fuck, okay, sure. But for those just joining, a reminder that I'm going to be streaming this most, if not the whole rest of the week, because I want to try and finish this before next week, because if I don't, it will be a long while before I next get a chance to stream it because of everything coming out next week. It's also why I did 2 Metaphor streams, because it was to try and see if I could finish it. Fortunately / unfortunately, Metaphor I got a lot longer of an end game than I thought it did, so we didn't get it done yesterday. But that's like a fortunate and unfortunate, because unfortunate because I wanted to try and get everything done, but fortunate because I love that fucking game, so it going on for a little longer, sure, why not? You haven't even entered like the final dungeon of that game, the Skybound Avatar. We got distracted by side quests. But we won't be playing Metaphor anytime next week, because, to be blunt, there's just no room. I'd love to, because I want to get that game done, but there's genuinely just no room. Monday is occupied in the schedule, Tuesday's occupied, Wednesday's occupied, Friday's occupied, and it's like, maybe I could do fucking Sunday, but call it a hunch, I think I'm going to be real tired by Sunday. It's also why no matter what, I'm taking this Sunday off, because I know next week is going to be like non-stop. I said the Monday stream won't be, next Monday's stream won't be too bad, because Sonic Racing Crossworlds, that's not like a big long project where I'm going to be playing like multiple sessions in a row and like have to go through a story. That will just be one stream. That will just be one big stream of me going through all the racetracks, seeing all the content you can do, trying to unlock some characters, and then probably just fucking around online for a few hours. Like that will be just like a big one-off like celebration day stream. It's Silent Hill F, it's Honkai Star Rail 3.6, it's Atelier Shallie that are the ones that are like, they're gonna start eating in that schedule. Like Honkai Star Rail, I'll do my dangdest to do it all in one stream. Indirect bypass, and there's another area over there. And Silent Hill F, apparently that game's around 12-ish hours long, according to the Famitsu review. So that one I probably get done in like 2 to 3, maybe 4 streams, depending on like if I get stuck. Over for Sky first. Well, yeah, but I'm not getting Sky first because there's too much other shit I've got to worry about. When the schedule eases up, I will get Sky first. Because you got to keep in mind, we've got like this month's like shenanigans with next week, sure, but then like October will just be me like cleaning it out, like, you know, working on Res the Rainer, doing Silent Hill F, you know, all that stuff. November. I've got it on my calendar. Hang on. November... Let me get it up. Oh, 28th of October is Recreation, which is the old Burnout devs' new game, which I might try out. We'll see. And on the 18th of November is SpongeBob. But November is also the 10th anniversary of me doing content on YouTube, because that's on the 4th of November, because I did start doing content on YouTube 2015, November 4th. But November is also Experiment Week on the starting on the 24th. And then going into December, there's nothing coming out big in December, but I'm also going to have less time to play with, because that's when my real-life job gets busier. Well, from Zero. Oh, yeah, true, but the difference is, like, from Zero, I was also kind of waiting to see if Sky First would get remade, because I did hear murmurings around that time that might be something that happened. And now it is happening. I've got a lot more incentive to hop in, and I do want to hop in. It's just... there's so much shit coming out all the fucking time that it's kind of, like, on the back burner. The plus side is, after Res La Reina, because I've covered every single fucking Atelier game that is available on PS4 and PS5, that's one big RPG franchise that I'm not having to immediately worry about, which will give me more room and time to try out other things. And additionally, once Metaphor's finished, I'm not doing another Monday game until after the new year, because I know I won't be able to get it finished before Christmas. Even if I picked a shorter-ish one, I still won't be able to get it done before Christmas, I don't think, just because I'm going to be too busy. So we're going to have a little bit more time to work with to maybe toy with these other things. Doesn't necessarily mean I'll do it this year. It'll probably be like, at the earliest, next January, February time. But we'll see. But the point is, it's not forgotten, and it's not pushed back because of, like, a lack of desire. No, it gets pushed back because other shit keeps coming out. But it is on the back burner, and it is something that's constantly on my mind. I do want to play it. I'm actually, like, genuinely excited for when I get to Sky First. It's just, you know, getting to it. I'm not going to, like, skip ahead or, like, rearrange things just to suit. I'm going to try and make everything work in some kind of, like, neat and orderly fashion. It just sometimes these things take a while. Oh, this was the direction of plot, huh? Okay, I probably should have gone the other way then. What was that? What is this place? It doesn't look like the surface, but there's so many plants. We've been teleported to another area by a device left in the ruins. It's an underground herbal garden. Herbal garden? These are all herbs? Not all of them, exactly, though there are signs of artificial cultivation. So you said we were teleported, but where are we? By the coordinates, we're to the southeast of Fav village on the eastern continent. We came this far in just an instant? The water is so pretty. I didn't know something like this could exist. The region isn't the only area places like this exist.
Yes, there are many important locations. Plants were important for discovering the source of life.
The source of life?
Alchemy was created to pursue these things.
I didn't know.
Plants require earth, water, and appropriate atmosphere.
However, that being said, with Trails, or not the Trails franchise, considering they confirmed in interview that, like, yeah, no, they're gonna do Sky second, at least in terms of remake as well, that kind of makes my job easier for figuring out how I want to play these games. Because I can play Sky first, wait for Sky second, and presumably / hopefully they do the third game. What's it's called, like Sky something or other? I can't remember its like full title, but they'll do like the third game as well. And then after the Sky third, I don't need a From Zero remake because I enjoyed From Zero when I played it, and it's easy to access because it's already on modern platforms. So I would just go from third to zero, and then I really can just play them all in order. Yeah, it's a remake of the first three, but you know what I mean. I really can then just play them in order without worrying about games being skipped or whatever just because they're not on modern platforms. And then do Zero, do Azure, I think after Azure it's the Cold Steel games, then Reverie, and then the Daybreak games. Ugh, so I need a stretch. Plants require earth, water, and an appropriate atmosphere. Water, air, and earth? What are things like that called again? Oh, the 4 elements. I see. Plants would represent almost all of them.
No, they represent all of them. Fire is heat, and heat drives all life forms.
That's too hard. I don't get it. So you're saying that alchemy research was done at this garden, and these gardens all over the world? Oh, good answer, Lottie. That makes it way easier to understand. I guess. I didn't really get the complicated stuff. Facilities like this are said to raise exceptional plants. Exceptional? Then is this Heaven's Vine one of them? Oh, if that's true, alchemy is truly wonderful, mysterious power.
Wonderful! Ha! Don't make me laugh. Ancient, powerful alchemy is forbidden. There's quite a bit of evidence.
Forbidden power?
Come, I'm sure you'll see the darkness behind alchemy ahead.
Yeah, before that though, there's a whole like other area back here that I didn't explore. Before we see like Grumps' point about alchemy being turbo evil and bad.
Oh, sorry, not Grumps, Gramps. Same thing with him.
But I can imagine Keith Riff in his 90s, like, alright, Grandad, let's get you to bed.
Alchemy!
Yes, okay, Grandad.
Humanity is
Sin, sure. Let's make sure your bed's all tidy. Oh god, you know what's just crossed my mind? If Resurreina is going to be like a celebration of like a lot of the legacy of the franchise of Atelier as well, because it's effectively an anniversary title. It's like how it's being promoted as well. I'm curious what side characters, because obviously like most of like the main alchemists are going to be in it. Like Marie's going to be in it. Like, you know, Judy's going to be in it. Violet's going to be in it. Iris is going to be in it, etc., etc. But what side characters are going to show up? What secondary protagonists are going to show up? Like, is it just going to be Ryza? Or are we going to have to put up with her friends again? I mean, put up with is a bit harsh, but you know what I mean. Are we going to get baited on, like, the Rise of Claudia ship for, like, the millionth time? Oh, hang on. If it's across the whole franchise, is Sophie's grandma going to be in it? There's a board blocking the path. We should come back later. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I can see from here. That kind of goes up to like a shrine. Okay. Oh, Jesus. I was just going to turn in all our stuff. Hang on. And it's also kind of funny looking at like what characters they made actually playable when you look at the popularity list. Because if you look at the popularity list of like most popular to least popular Atelier protagonists, you immediately go, oh, I see why they picked Sophie specifically. I see why they picked Toturi specifically. I see why they picked Wilbell specifically. Like, it starts to like really come together. It's like, it's unironically like the most popular character of each saga that they picked. Well, Sophie is the most popular character in all of Atelier, which is insane considering how wide the franchise is. It's like, man, yeah, it's no wonder Sophie got a fucking second game. And I wish I was kidding. Think about how many Atelier games there are, right? Think about how many characters are in each of these games. So think about how many characters across the entire franchise there are. So if I tell you Sophie alone took 22% of the votes, that's a gargantuan fucking lead, considering there's like genuinely hundreds of characters. Like the second most popular character is like 4%, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, where is it, Riser? Riser's like third or fourth. Because it's unironically, it's like Sophie's the most popular, then it's Toturi. And you're like, gee, I wonder why Toturi was picked as like the other character that's playable. Then I think it's, I can't remember if it's Wilbell then Riser, or Riser then Wilbell. But like, once again, it's like, oh gee, I wonder why they picked Wilbell to be playable then. Keithgriff's in top 10, he's like 8th, I think. Because I know you'd be curious where Keithgriff is on that list. Gee, I wonder why, meme. And it's kind of a shame, because it's like, there's, I think, like, oppositely, I think the reason why there's a minor Kamiya character as playable as well is because you look at the popularity list, and you learn very quickly, no one's fucking played the games prior to Rorona. Like, there are so many characters that just straight up had 0 votes, and I'm like, this is a great character from this game, but no one's played it, so of course it says 0. It's like, I could pick any character at random from, like, Iris 2, and I guarantee you no one fucking voted for any of them, because no one's played fucking Iris 2. No, Riser had a whole trilogy to build her character. I think it's more just, genuinely people just like Sophie more. She's far more than just some tomboy. What also you gotta keep in mind as well is that the Riser games came about when Atelier as a whole started to change. And so there was a lot of people who were classic fans who maybe dropped off. And so for them, their last, like, big protagonists were Sophie, Firis, Liddy, and Sully. And Liddy and Sully, at least according to that list, weren't that fucking popular. And people were kind of mixed on Firis as a game as a whole. So for some people, the last one that was a complete clean slate, lovable game was Sophie 1. For like those more legacy fans as well. You know? I genuinely love the new games for what they are. Well, you know I do. Like, I genuinely have a real high spot for them, especially Riser 2. I think Riser 2 is fantastic. But like, that is a part of it that has to be almost like recognized with talking about the franchise's legacy. Oh, I did activate this. Okay, I wasn't sure if I activated it or not.
気づいてないみたい。チャンスだよ。せちゃおうかな。乱れ打ちだよ。
加勢するぞ。
よーし、全力でいくよ。
Disregard, especially Yumiya releasing. I mean, Yumiya was on that list as well. She was like 6th or 7th, but it kind of makes sense that she's on the lower end because she's only had one game. She hasn't had that much time to be like much further expanded. And she's also still new, and not everyone's played Yumiya, so like her being lower down makes sense as well. So I don't think, I mean, heck, Res Lorena Online did like super well in Japan, and like both the main characters of Res Lorena like were barely on the list. Like, you have to give people time to like kind of fall in love with these characters on the long term, otherwise they will just default back to their other ones. Yumiya is the fastest selling Atelier game, and I believe in terms of record franchise sale, it's the second best selling full stop. But the only game that beats it, I can't remember which one it is, but it's one that's like, it's one of the ones that's basically had like a whole bunch of re-releases, which is why it has more units sold as a whole. Why is there 3 games? Yeah, and she's in top 5. Yumiya's just short of top 5. But she'll probably creep up to top 5 as well. Like, there are certain characters that I think no matter what happens, this might just be me being hot take here, there are certain characters I think no matter what happens, they could give you the best written, most god-tier character ever existed. I still don't think they will be as popular just because some of these older characters, because unfortunately Sophie is an older character at this point, have legacy. But a decade from now, maybe, we will look back on these characters, and I'm sure that list will be radically fucking different, because a whole different generation of Atelier fans will have their legacy characters that they love to death. You know? Like, come back in a decade, I really won't be surprised if Rise is at the top or Yumiya's at the top. But for a lot of, like, longer-lasting fans, their legacy characters are either Dusk characters, which is probably why Totori's so high up, or Mysterious characters, which is why Sophie's so high up. But that's what I mean, like, it's a lot less than just, like, obviously, yeah, you bring up recency bias, like, that's a part of it as well, which is probably why, like, Sophie isn't, not Sophie, Ryza, sorry, isn't, like, top 3 anymore. She's, like, dipped down to, like, top 5, because her saga ended, it's crazy to say this out loud, because it doesn't feel that long ago, but Ryza's saga did end 2 years ago now. So she's not, like, in the limelight as much anymore. While Sophie immediately went to the mobile game, Sophie we already know is in Res Lorena RW. You know, like, Sophie stayed in people's mouths. Because after Sophie 2, she was in another thing the next year with the online game. She was in another thing about 18 months later now with Res Lorena RW. Like, she's been more consistent. Rise went to the mobile game too? Yeah, she went to the mobile game first, like, almost immediately after Ryza 3 came out. Sophie came out afterwards, and then got 2 extra variants, and then got Plachta, which then got another extra variant of Sophie on top of it for, like, extra movesets and shit. Sophie's been much more consistent of a hot topic in Res Lorena Online than Ryza is. Ryza, I think, has got 1 extra variant since she came out. And that one was kind of a generic variant, because I think it was the swimsuit. I keep on saying I think, and I think, because don't 100% quote me on the online stuff, because I don't really care for Res Lorena Online. I kept, like, a vague idea of it when it was doing its marketing, just in case it was anything that became important to, like, the mainline games, basically. But yeah, my point is, like, Sophie is the most popular because she's, like, the legacy character that holds a lot of heart for a lot of people. But I wouldn't be surprised if that changes over the course of, like, the next decade, is what I'm getting at. But to get back to my point, my real point, them adding a Mana Kamiya character, I genuinely do appreciate, because of the fact it comes from a bygone era of Atelier that no one's experienced anymore. And I genuinely hold those games real close to my heart. So yeah, the Salberg games are all kind of janky messes. Even though they get a lot better throughout the trilogy, they're all still kind of janky messes. I fucking love Judy so much. Judy was such a charming game.
that had so much heart about it, and the protagonist is such a fucking bundle of joy. Like, there are characters that are super optimistic in the series that have come afterwards, but like Judy's in a whole different league. Like, I've never seen a character who like has a smile so stuck to her face like Judy. Nothing upsets Judy. She is such a happy, bubbly person, faced with impossible odds, and smiles anyway because she's having fun. She gets time traveled 1,000 years into the past and is under a strict time limit to figure out a way to get back to her time to be back with her family. And she goes, oh boy, a new age to explore? And you're like, this girl is so precious. I like that Viorate is like just kind of like a little bean who's like obsessed with carrots. I love the Iris games. Well, Iris 1 is very fucking slow, but I still like Iris 1 a lot. And Iris 3, Iris is my daughter. I was like 5 minutes with Iris. I was like, people need to play Iris 3. People need to play Iris 3 so bad because Iris is such a charming gal, and there's so many things that Iris 3 introduce that become so prominent with the series post its soft reboot with Verona. Like, there are so many aspects of Iris 3 where, like, basically Iris 3's alchemy system became the bedrock of like the entire Arland alchemy system in retrospect. Like, you look at how, like, Iris 3 handles its alchemy, you look at how Arland games handle their alchemy, and you go, oh, shit, it's like, oh, that's where they took the alchemy from. Like, when they were, like soft rebooting the series. Like, it's, like, very, like, on the nose. Because Mana Khemia got a lot more experimental, but Mana Khemia also introduced... Well, Iris introduced it, but Mana went a lot more in-depth with the actual Mana versus alchemy system that Verona then dropped, and it didn't really get picked up again until Yumiya. Which is why I always kind of cheekily call Yumiya Mana Khemia 3, because it basically fucking is. The only thing Yumiya's missing is a giant school for Yumiya to go to, and then it would literally be Mana Khemia 3. Let's go first. Eat my words before I stereotype it. Yeah, the problem with Marie, especially after I played the PS1 version as well, is a big part of what comes later. Marie is painfully just okay. But literally every single gal that comes after her has something more to give. Even as early as Ellie, like the very next game, Ellie has so much more personality and more like charm to who she is. Like Marie's just like, Marie's whole gimmick is that she's a goal failure trying to succeed at life, and that's as far as her character goes. And you're just like, okay. Also, Ellie has inspirations. Ellie has goals beyond alchemy. She has things she wants to do, things she wants to see, but she's always like anxious of of the real world holding her back and how it affects how she wants to be. And it's like, no, as soon as you get from like Marie to Ellie, you're like, oh, come on. Like, there's so much more with Ellie. Like, Ellie's a goober too, don't get me wrong, because it's still early days. Like, the whole Salberg trilogy, you finish the third Salberg game, you're like, man, yeah, all three of these games are kind of basic, but you can see the growth. Sidecast more. Yeah, Fez. Like, I think that's the easiest way to put it. You can see the growth. You go through the Salberg games, and by the time you get to Salberg 3, you're like, okay, no, this series, they didn't just kind of make the same game 3 times and call it a day. Even back at the very beginning, Gust really fucking cared about making it right and learning as much as they could. You go from Salberg 1 to 2, and you can see they put everything in their power to try and make it a better experience. And then they took what they learned from 2 and did the same with 3. The only trouble I have is that if you've played Salberg 1, you do have a pretty good idea how 2 and 3 are going to play. They are all kind of similar games, just 2's a much more polished version of 1, and 3's a much more polished version of 2. That's probably the easiest way to put it. It's when you go to the Gramnid games, so they get a lot more experimental, and it's why I love the Gramnid games so much. I think Asmarie's Fez. And I also really liked Salberg 3 being a prequel. Salberg 3 being based 20 years before the first 2 games was actually just really charming. It was a nice contrast that, like, the rest of the whole fucking franchise has never really gone back to. They don't really do, like, unless you really want to count Sophie 2, which is more of like an in-betweenquel than an actual prequel, because it's based between Sophie 1 and Furious, but they don't really do prequel games, like, properly like that. At least not off the top of my head. So Salberg 3 being a full-on prequel game, where it's like 20 years prior, so it's like before Marie was even born. and you get to see like the foundation of how the academy that Marie went to even got established. You got to see these older characters when they were in their prime, these middle-aged characters when they were younger, etc., etc. Like, it was a real nice contrast, and it kind of surprises me that they don't really do that. That's okay. Oh, I will say though, if you ever get in a position to play like all of the PS1 classics and the early PS2 games, there's an adjustment. I mean, you can feel it yourself if you just play classic Marie on the with the remake. There's an adjustment. You have to approach all the way up to Gramnid 2. You have to approach how you play the games very different to how you play anything afterwards, because they are just really rigid RPGs. And if you don't play them the way they want you to, you will never get anywhere in them. Like Viorate, I love what Viorate did to its difficulty to make it far more approachable, but holy shit, like, you are in for the long haul when you're trying to, like, figure out those early games to actually really get a feel for them. Like, Viorate did the smart decision. Viorate has 5 difficulties, and it makes it explicitly clear all 5 difficulties will affect the timer as well. You can play the whole game with the time limit disabled on the easiest difficulty. Then from there, you can play it where it moves at half speed, you can play it at normal speed, you can play it at double speed. And then the 5th difficulty is tied to New Game Plus, where you have full customable ability of how quick the timer moves, if it moves at all. Like, Viorate handled the time limit perfectly, because if you don't want it, you can turn it off. But if you want it, but you find it a little too strict, you can make it slower. If you want it as is, you can do it. If you think you're a fucking pro, you can speed it up. A bad thing. Odd, but the page RP is way to create as intended. Yeah, I get that. We've had this conversation several times before. I completely get that. The only thing is that I'm not ignorant to the fact that the way the creator envisioned for these games that are 20 or 30 plus years old can't just be released as is nowadays and make enough money to justify the port. When there's direct ports of like 30 or 40 year old games, because we are getting to a point where some games are 40 odd years old, even something as simple as porting still costs money. And then they spend that money, port it over, but because it's this rigid, old, weird old game, literally no one fucking buys it, and they've lost money. So it makes them feel incentivized to add quality of life, whether it's like with the PS1 re-releases of Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, where they add cheat codes. So you can make it so you have God mode, or make it so the game runs at 3 times speed. Or you can turn off encounters if they're getting annoying. Vintage fans? I wish I did, but I have the 26 years of my life of watching my stepdad get really excited at games re-releasing from his legacy, it coming out, he buying it, and then realizing very few other people brought it. It commercially bombs, and he never gets any ports or remasters of future games in the series he loves. But when he gets full-on remasters of games he loved instead, they then do well enough to allow for future endeavors. Most of the time. My stepdad's games, for the record, are completely different from mine. He's into a lot of like strategy and like simulator games. You know, like, he's in a lot more into those sort of things. But I remember him getting like the ports of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. And they were like exactly the games they were when they originally released, with like nothing changed. And he was happy as Larry, but damn did they sell miserably. OG Yakuza games were those games. It's not a quantity, but quality. Yeah, but they still sold miserably. That's my point. It's not about, like, my point is it's not a quantity. It's that these devs or creators end up feeling more incentivized when they're like doing direct ports to choose something with them to make sure they get their money out of doing that port or remaster. Because unfortunately, people be people. Although you get some exceptions, like Final Fantasy is always going to sell. You know, they could drop a Pokemon Red port on the Switch 2 and it will sell. Even though that game is such a janky, glitchy fucking mess, it will still sell because it's got that legacy on its name. You brought up Yakuza. I'd say Yakuza's kind of at that point where it's like, it is that thing. But yeah, but my only point is like, it's like, there is some incentive to do it. There's also, we've had this conversation as well, but sometimes it is just also as simple as the creator's vision has changed. They look back on their old work and go, oh, I don't really like that anymore, or oh, I kind of wish we could do this, or, you know, yada yada yada. I love a lot of these legacy games as well for various reasons. Like, Pokemon Red is a janky piece of shit. I still love it, but it is still kind of a mess. That game is held together on paper clips, and the moment you start realizing where those paper clips are, it starts to crumble. But it was necessary steps in like growing the franchise and like figuring itself out, and it's a beloved game for a reason. But yeah, anyway, I've gone off topic for too long. Polish isn't always a good thing. Gen 5 Plus, I'm interested because of that, because of escalation. You say that like Gen 5 Plus are polished. Gen 5 Part 2 is like the last, like, really fucking good Pokemon game, in my opinion. Gen 6 launched with a game-breaking bug that corrupted your save if you happen to save in a town. Gen 7 struggles to run at any decent frame rate. Gen 8, they failed to render half the map. Gen 9 doesn't fucking work half the time. You say... like... Gen 5 was the last time we had it good. Let's be real. Like, Gen 6 was the first generation of Pokemon that had to have patches. You had to connect your 3DS to the internet to get patches, because when it launched, your save would get corrupted if you saved in town. I remember it, because I remember there being a big fuss about it. And I remember it as well, because that exact same glitch made it into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which came out the next year. And it's just like, are you fucking serious? Like, how did this happen 2 games in a row? I hated fairy types in Gen 6, but came around to them eventually. Gen 7 nerfed the shit out of them, for the record, to make them fit into the meta more. Because I get why. Dragons dominated the meta way too much. And so they wanted something that not only could supplement dragons, but make some of the weaker types have more prominence. The trouble is, the types they tried to make more prominent were just shit types. So it ended up making fairies really powerful, because you're not going to hit them with a bug or fucking poison type. Because you're not going to have one of them on your team. You know? But in Gen 7, they nerfed the shit out of fairy type, and they gave them a few more weaknesses to make them far more balanced. And nowadays, I don't mind fairy types. But back in Gen 6, God no. Fairy types were the bane of my existence. I hated them in Gen 6. But like, they really like curved them in Gen 7 to make them more balanced. They're still completely immune to dragon attacks, which is insane. But I get it. Games are stupid. Oh yeah, unfortunately, Pokemon's been dominated by its meta scene for years now. It's been dominated by its meta scene since like Gen 4. And they kind of got away with it in Gen 4 and Gen 5, but by the time it got to Gen 6, it was like, no, they couldn't ignore it anymore, so they had to kind of do something. For what purpose? The same reason everything changes in the industry, my friend. Money. Unironically, Pokemon tournaments make a metric fuck ton of money every single year, and they have done for like 15 years now. Pokemon tournaments make an absurd amount of money, to such an extent that they couldn't ignore it. Meta has had a play in Pokemon's franchise for years now, because it's where the money is. Fuck it, bring back Missing No. But yeah, fairies are immune to dragons, and fairies are super effective against dragons. And all of that was a point of trying to knock dragons on the side a little bit, because they were too dominating, especially in Gen 5. Gen 5 added so many fucking dragons, and they were already kind of on top of the field, so you just had too many options. Oh no, Gen 2 didn't fix dragon types, it fixed Psychic. Because Psychic was broken as fucking hell in Gen 1, which is why they added Dark and Steel type. They didn't invent Dark and Steel type to challenge Dragon, they invented them solely to challenge Psychic. Little did we know that the biggest nerf to Psychic was still yet to come. The physical special split, baby. In fact, this physical special split, when that was introduced in Gen 4, do you know why that was introduced? It wasn't just because of a natural evolution of the games, it was because of the meta. People were upset that certain types were just shoehorned into being just physical or special, and they wanted to have more expression in the meta for tournaments, and eventually the tournament became more popular around that time, and Game Freak noticed and went, oh, people really want that, huh? Alright. But I'm getting off topic again. We've been staring at Keith Griff staring at a low poly book for like 10 minutes now. All of like the newer gens though, like just to kind of wrap up my topic, I fucking hate Gen 6. I'm very open about the fact that I think Gen 6 is the worst generation of Pokemon. I think that game adds very little to the table. Yeah, it adds fairies and megas, but I thought they did more damage than good because it ended up tunnel visioning what teams you could really have to just get through the main adventure. Because if you didn't have one Mega Evolution Pokemon on you, although it wasn't impossible because you can kind of make anything work because it's Pokemon, fucking hell did it get a lot harder. You know, like, it got a lot more awkward if you didn't have at least one fairy type in your team and one mega. Which is why they give you a mega for free. I also was, when I first went through Gen 6, I was so fucking tired of the Gen 1 glazing that when they showed me, like, you're getting a Gen 1 starter for free partway through the game, I was like, why? I was so tired of Gen 1 because, like, Gen 1 wasn't the first generation I played and grew up with. Gen 2 was. Gen 4 was the most significant to my childhood, but my earliest memories is Pokemon Silver. And a little bit of Yellow, but more Silver. But, like, we had Gen 1. We had Gen 2, which the second half of Gen 2 is Gen 1. We had Gen 3, which then remade Gen 1 with Fire Red. We had Gen 4, which remade Gen 2. But, oh wait, Gen 2 is half Gen fucking 1. Like, we had 4 generations in a row of fucking Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. I was so tired of Kanto. Even as a kid, I was just like, are we? Please stop going back to fucking Kanto. So I loved Gen 5, because it had nothing to do with any previous generation. Gen 5 alienated itself from the rest of the other generations, and I know a lot of people didn't like that, and that's fine. But for me, I loved that Gen 5 Part 1 was like, no bitch, only new Pokemon. You are not allowed to touch anything from Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh until after you've beat the champion. I was just like, hell yeah. You go straight to Gen 6, and it's like, fucking, we're right back on our bullshit. We go to Gen 7, oh, let's go Pikachu and Eevee. Great. Like, I am so personally tired of Kanto. If you love Kanto and have nostalgic memories for it, I will not take that from you. I am happy for you. I love Kanto as a game as it is. I am just tired of seeing it. You go to, like, Gen 7 had you fighting Red and Blue again as well. Bland and pointless. I love Gen 5. It's extremely story driven, and I know it's not for everyone because some people don't really like, even though it's an RPG, which is ironic as fuck. They don't like it being too story driven. But Gen 5 Part 1 is too story driven and very preachy. But I still like it for what it is, and I love that it had the balls to say, fuck you, you're not using any of the old Pokemon. You can only use the new 150. So you had to actually make a new team. You couldn't rest on your laurels or use legacy Pokemon. But Gen 5 Part 2 absolutely clears, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because Gen 5 Part 2 is what brought back all the old Pokemon that you can get Gen 1 through 4. But Gen 5 Part 2 clears. Gen 5 Part 2 is my second favourite mainline game because it's phenomenal. They let you fight any of the old gym leaders, any of the old champions. They have an extensive post-game. You can hunt down almost every single previous legendary in the series. All of them have unique little dungeons as well for you to find them in. Like, there's so many side quests. Every single town has a different music gimmick, which as someone who is a music fan, sung to my soul. Like, Gen 5 Part 2 is so fucking good. I love Gen 5. Gen 5 Part 2 was like the last Pokemon game that really just got it for me. Like, wholeheartedly. But yeah, we're never escaping Gen 1, and that's why I end up getting tired of it, because we genuinely aren't. You know it, I know it. It's like, oh boy, I hope they reference Gen 1 soon. It's like, oh boy, I hope they reference your grave soon. Fucking... I'm kidding.
Anyway, Odelia, can you verify these documents?
はい、マスター。
Yes, sir. There's a research center like the ones in the other regions, and these documents are research data.
各地にある
There's control data that appears to be for water purification devices tied to various regions.
浄化装置の管理データ。
No, the thing is, for the record, like, I have to, like, make clear, I don't hate Gen 1. I like Gen 1 for what it is. It's janky as shit back when it came out, and I find that endearing. I find a lot of it... I love the fact that you can just get Mew by just going to certain locations in a certain way. I like that you can force encounter Missing No at any given point to duplicate the sick item in your inventory. You know, I love that Gen 1 is just this giant experiment that's filled with so many ideas that never made it to the rest of the franchise, because not all of them were winners. But it exists. However, my frustration is how overused it's become. That's where my frustration lies with. I want the franchise I love to keep moving forward, not constantly saying, hey, do you guys remember 1996? That's where my upset, my, like, annoyance is. I'm gonna say, But like I said, it's in obviously Gen 1 it's existed. Gen 2, it was a cool gimmick that the second after you beat the game and finished and beat the champion, like you beat up Lance and all his free Dragonite bullshit. The second half of the game, you get, I say second half, Kanto's tiny in Gen 2, but you Koza Kanto, and that's a like real cool surprise that you could go do that, and you could fight your gym leaders and then go fight Red. I love that. Gen 3, them doing a full Game Boy Advance remake of Gen 1, I was like, you know what, no, that makes sense, because it allows them to apply what they learned from Gen 2 and 3 to that game. It was still before the physical special split, but at least, like, Gen 1 Pokemon had abilities and Psychic wasn't as busted. Gen 4, remaking Johto, Soul Silver and Heart Gold is easily the best of the remakes. It's phenomenal how much extra quality of life they gave it. It's insane how much they managed to do with it, whilst at the same time working on Gen 5. Like, it's like Game Freak of that era is a whole different beast of Game Freak of today. Game Freak of today kind of like whimpers to make one game every 3 years. But then obviously, because it was a remake of Gen 2, it had Kanto again. So I was a little tired of it, you know? Can you blame me? Even as a kid, I was like, oh, it's Kanto again. So, like I said, for me, when Gen 5 came out, I genuinely felt it was a breath of fresh air. I knew it probably wasn't going to last forever, and I said Black and White 2, prove the point. But for me, personally, it was a huge breath of fresh air. It's just when we got back to it being Kanto involved with Gen 6, I assumed it would be around the same level as Gen 1 through 4. I wasn't expecting them to go way harder with it. Gen 6 is mostly a retelling of Gen 1, but with less interesting environments and worse Pokemon. Well, and throwing in Gen 1 starter while you're at it. And making a really uninteresting villain with Team Flare. Especially because Lysandra is just discount Cyrus and just, but worse. That's what Kanto meant. The thing is, I grew up with Gen 2. I still have legacy nostalgia for those older gens. Maybe not on the same level you might do. But yeah, I was excited for Soul Silver. No, that doesn't mean I want Johto to keep showing up. I want the franchise to keep moving forward. I don't want every single generation of a franchise that's 29 years old to be about Kanto. That's so tiring to me. You know, like, obviously, like, I have nostalgic for things that I wish could come back and be referenced, and if they were referenced all the time, I'd suck it up like nobody's business. Virtual rivalry. Yeah, but that's different because it's not like Dante and Virgil's rivalry was being rehashed for fan service. When Virgil comes back in 5, it's to serve the greater purpose of an overarching plot. Them bringing Kanto back is because they know it will get clicks from 30-year-olds. That's the reason why. They know people in their 30s will buy it. My sister will pick up every single fucking Pokemon anything that has to do with Kanto. I know she will. Virgil's fan service. I mean, there's a degree of it, sure, but no. Virgil is intricate, is interwoven with every single Devil May Cry but 2.
Because it's as much his story of collapse and redemption as it is Dante's story of rise and fall. Dante climbs up heroism to such an extent he loses himself, and then goes on autopilot, not seeing the bigger picture in 5. Whilst Virgil collapses down to rock bottom and has to build himself back up. Eventually, the siblings meet in the middle in 5. No, I completely get it. I think you're missing the point. It's like, just because I didn't start with Gen 1 doesn't mean I have no nostalgic attachment to Gen 1. My nostalgic attachment to Gen 1 is partly why I'm sick to death of it. Because I'm tired of that being, like, always in my face. I love Fire Red. I know it's a remake of it, so it's not quite the same, but I love Fire Red. And I went back and played a lot of Red and Yellow. I have Red on my 3DS, because it was on the digital store. I do get it. I do have nostalgia for it. Maybe not on the same level as the people in their 30s do, but I still do have it. My point is, I'm just tired of it. Next year's going to be the 30th anniversary of the franchise, and it's still all about Kanto for the most part. And I'm like, there's over 1,000 Pokemon in this fucking series. Including spin-offs, there's close to 16 regions in this franchise. Why does only one matter? That's my point. I want them to go out. I want them to stop resting on their laurels for a franchise that makes billions. What happens if you go make a new region, a new game that's something to do with Kanto? Oh, what does it matter? It'll still sell well. You can take the fucking risk, Game Freak. Gen 9 was one of the jankiest, glitchiest messes of a Pokemon game ever released. It's also the second best-selling Pokemon game of all time. What's stopping you you know? Want risks, my guy? Yeah, I get that. But this is a franchise that's not taking any risks. At all. It's not even humoring them. It's good to have that conversation of whether people want risks or not, if they've ever experienced any of those risks in this series. But the only time they did was Gen 5 Part 1, and then they immediately buckled on Gen 5 Part 2. That game is nearly 20 years old. I think it's okay to take another risk. One slight step in a different direction is A-okay, Game Freak. I promise no one will smite you for not having fucking Pikachu in it. The risks of the series sucks? What risk? That they added one extra type like Gen 2 did? Uh-oh. That hasn't changed anything. That they added Megas? Oh no, they just started the gimmick of having a new gimmick per generation. Gen 5 was triple on rotation battles, Gen 6 is Mega, Gen 7 is Z moves, Gen 8 is fucking Gigantamax, Gen 9 is the Crystal thing. Like, this series is on autopilot, and it has been for decades. It's just introduce a new gimmick, remove the last one, that serves the same purpose. It makes Pokemon bigger and have new movesets. Cool. Next generation, get rid of that one. Do the same thing, but with a new name. Have 8 gym leaders. Have the Elite Four and Champion. Have a villain group that you face and beat usually before the 8th gym. Help. Like, I just want... Like, to wrap up this topic, because we'll go around in circles, I just want Gen 10 to feel new. I know it won't. Especially because it's the 30th anniversary. They're going to milk that anniversary promotion as much as they possibly can. But I just want Gen 10 to feel new again. Because that's the biggest thing with me in Pokemon. I love the series for what it is, but it hasn't felt new in almost... When did Gen 6 come out? 2013? 12 years. That's why I don't really play Pokemon that much anymore. I hated Gen 6. I thought Gen 7 was actually alright, but it drags on. Gen 8 just looked like more of the same. Gen 9 looks like more of the same, but just a bigger world, and it lags a lot more. But that's like my biggest thing is that I just want Gen 10 to actually make Pokemon feel new again, because it just doesn't feel new to me. And it really can't the whole time it's constantly hanging on the coattails of its legacy, I feel. As well as data about the manufacture of artificial life forms. Like, Keith was like, man, I've been hearing argument for like the past half an hour. Do you think they stopped? Do you think we can read this now? Oh, I don't know why my voice got so graggly. That was several decades. Yeah, and I didn't watch the anime for several decades. That almost serves my point, because it's more of the fucking same. That they had to kill it off and replace it with another character who now is continuing the exact same journey. They just changed the main face, and it's still just a Pokemon anime. The only good thing to come out of the Pokemon anime is the films. I like after the first few seasons. But no, the Pokemon anime is the epitome of my point, because it did just hang on to the past for way too fucking long. It was always Ash and his Pikachu. It was always, let's go on next adventure. They didn't change fucking anything. And even when they quote-unquote changed it, they didn't. Pikachu's still the face of the show. It's just with a new girl instead of Ash. No, I get that. I get it from that perspective. They did it because they finally realized the show needed to change, though. And my point is, why the fuck didn't it happen sooner? Why did we have 8 generations of Ash going, I'm gonna be the Pokemon Master. I'm gonna beat Gary. I'm gonna take on the Elite Four. Ah, shucks, I lost. On to the next region, then. No, bitch, fight again! But that's a whole different conversation. The anime is a whole different conversation I'm not going to get into, because if you look at like what episodes I watched, you'll see it gets to about Gen 4, and then I just stopped watching. So like anything that happened in like Gen 4, like second half onwards, Gen 5, 6, 7, and 8, I have no idea, because I just didn't watch them. The only things with Pokemon I engage with is that there's a YouTube channel called Pokemon TV, which airs all of the first, like, 5 seasons and the early 3 films for free on it. So I can put it in front of my baby niece when I need her to watch something for a minute. So Pokemon pioneered that shit? Wait. Are you saying it pioneered remakes / remasters? Is that what you're trying to say? When did Fire Red come out again? Like 2004? (2003-ish? Yeah, it's like somewhere around there. Remember Gen 3? Gen 3 was like, I think 2002 in Japan, 2003 in the West. And then like it was Fire and Leaf Green, then it was Emerald, so like 2003, maybe 2004-ish? Somewhere around there? The reason why I bring this up is because Resident Evil 1 remake was 2001. So it was predated. Yes, I think remake was... Hang on, I've got to fucking look now, I'm confused. Hang on. Resident Evil 1 remake release date. No, not the rumored remake. Fucking Resident Evil 1 GameCube. 2002. And when was... Hang on. Pokemon Fire Red release date. Not release price. Jesus Christ, Google. Why do you work so shit? 2004. January 2004. That being said, you probably are at least partially right, because the RE1 remake, if you might not know this, the RE1 remake, when it first came out on GameCube, despite
nowadays it being heralded as the greatest remake to ever be conceived, when it first released, it didn't sell at all. It only started picking up in sales when it was ported to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 store, like nearly a decade later. And the sales of that was what ended up pushing it. So you've probably still got some of a point in that regard. But it's technically not like the oldest remaster remake in that regard. And also, if you really want to go back, even though it's a worse version in my opinion, Final Fantasy VI got a direct PS1 port, which came in like 1998. Because it was originally a SNES game. Yeah, it might not have started, but it did popularize. Yeah, it definitely was a big helping hand in it. But the thing is, like, the easiest way I think to put this, to kind of, like, really nip this in the bud, because I'm aware that we've been talking about this for ages now. I know they're going to still do things like that. We know it, you know it, I know it. They're still going to do nostalgic things for Gen 1. They're still going to have a lot of counter representation. They're still going to do a lot of that, because it sells. And it's always going to do that. People love it, yada yada. I'm saying, me personally, I am tired of Kanto. And I look forward to a day, if it ever comes, where they're actually willing to kind of, not entirely, because they will never 100% let it go, but allow themselves to go in different directions from it. And leave it behind for a while. That's what I personally want. I know it's probably not going to happen. Gen 10 especially is almost definitely going to have a lot of fan service and pandering. Because it's going to hit 2 milestones at once. It's going to hit its 10th major iteration, which is an insane milestone in of itself. And it's the 30th anniversary of the franchise next year. Like, I would be surprised if there wasn't any fan service in it, you know? Like, of course they're going to have fan service in Gen 10. Gen 10 is probably going to have you go to fucking Kanto for all we know. Artificial life forms? But I'll leave it there. I knew it. Part of the reason why the ocean in this region is now called the Dusk Sea, as well as the deeds of humanity to fulfill such an end. I don't understand. Take a careful look around this room. Even you will start to understand. And to be honest, I'm not doing too bad for keeping up with the conversation, considering I feel like shit today. I'm very under the weather. I've been, like, really sweaty, like, all stream. Not because it's warm, but because I'm, like, not well. I'm keeping up my water, don't worry. Oh, shit! So I'm not doing too bad at keeping up with the conversation and such, considering. It's why sometimes, like, you might hear me, like, take an extended pause for breath. That's me having some water, because I'm, like, dying here. Okay, it's not that bad, but you get my point. It's not but I get it. I mean, you're in like you have the same mindset as my older sister. My older sister, like I said, she'll eat up anything Gen 1 related to the end of time. Like, it doesn't, like, bother her in the slightest. And anytime I bring up that I kind of hope they don't have Kanto involved, she looks at me like I'm a weirdo. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, Sophie, but no. I'm tired of this fucking gen. But my sister and her husband are, like, super, like, Pokemon enthusiasts. So, like, I know, like, they will love everything that comes out of Pokemon. Like, they're part of the problem. Like, you go to their house and, like, they have a, these, like, framed, posters of, like, the original sketches of, like, the first 5 generations of Pokemon down the wall going down their stairs, kind of like Pokemon enthusiasts. Like, they are, like, they're super into it. People love. I mean, yeah, like I said, the ultimate example, unfortunately, as much as I love it, was Gen 5. Gen 5 actually took one big risk, and people kind of didn't like it. Which is a shame, because it resulted in people skipping Gen 5 Part 2, when Part 2... Like I said, I wish people played Part 2 more, because Part 2 is so good. And it's also a shame, too, because Gen 5 Part 1
was the last Pokemon game to have the original writing team. And it's like, man, their very last game, their very last game that they were going to write and be a part of, you know, something that they've been part from the beginning, was them taking a great big risk, which I think is a beautiful way to kind of end your time with a company, to do something new before you go. And it just didn't appease people. So when the new writers came in, the first thing they did was try and make something that they thought would make everyone happy, which is just make a really safe but big Pokemon game, and they did, and Gen 5 Part 2 is fantastic for it. And then when they were put in charge of making a brand new generation, they gave us fucking Gen 6. I'm sorry, I shouldn't dog on. My biggest upset with Gen 6 is that I think it needed a third version, kind of like the older games did. Because it needed it to kind of drag itself up from the ground. And the fact that it never got that chance just made it fall into just, it was bleh for me. Super Kojima. Yeah, but they weren't like, it wasn't like they were trying to pull a Kojima and like break people's minds and make them think. They just wanted to do something new and make that their ending point. They just wanted to do something new and not just play it safe for their last big entry and make more the same. Like, I respect that for them. As in, I genuinely love Gen 5. It's a preachy fucking story. And so I get people not liking the story that much, but I like it. I've always had a huge soft spot for Gen 5. The only part of, like, Gen 5 that I don't like is, the level all the new Pokemon need to evolve. Because why there's, like, everything's such a high level to evolve? Like, the easiest way to identify if a Gen 5 mon is, what level do they evolve? Oh, 55. Oh, it's a Gen 5 mon then. You're like, why did they do that? Can I easily go back? No, I need to actually go back through the environment, okay. Oh, am I stuck here until I'm finished? Or do I have to like run back for it the other way? Is it kind of like a tunnel then? Hang on. Fuck! That being said, all this talk of like you know, like Pokemon's focus on the meta and whatnot, I don't know what they were fucking thinking with Gen 9, some of Gen 9's like mons. Some of the Pokemon in Gen 9, I'm sitting there like, oh, they just didn't give a fuck anymore. Like, some of the Pokemon's balancing, like the whole new meta is dominated by Gen 9 mons, because they are just objectively better Pokemon in terms of like what they can do, what their abilities are, what skills they learn, than like anything that's come before. Like, they straight up like power creeped Pokemon somehow, and it's like, huh? Like Gen 9, like some of Gen 9's mons and what they can do and what their abilities are, you just like have to tilt your head and go, oh, they really thought this was okay, huh? Like, what happened to the good old days? The good old days where the meta was just power, like, and power fusion. Or spamming double team like a bitch. Like half an hour or so to... Don't even! All this. I mean, another... I'll wait for you to do your bottom rate and I'll talk about it. But an easy, like, Gen 5 is a good example of, like, some of, like, the balance changes. Because that was when they super buffed Sturdy, for example. I mean, it wasn't just, like, you survive IKs. They made it so you just couldn't be one-shot by any attack. So it became a focus sash. So I'm just trying to get back quickly to see if I can get back to town, like turning all my stuff, or if I'm kind of like locked in until we're done. Okay, we can go back. It just, you have to run through. The heck's the eye drop of truth? Sorry, I've got to make this just to find out what it is. Hmm. Well, it just seems like, is it a thing for this over here? But no, it doesn't seem to be. No! There's so many enemies here. Do you really have to do this every time you want to just get out? Okay, there we go. Oh, bye. Oh. This is... Trophy unlocked, a place of origin. So where Linka was born? What the f... Linka? According to records, this is an artificial life form made to control this facility. It's a component. A component? But that's... No matter how you look at it, this is Linka. She's human. You already know of administrators, right? People like Flamu, who became part of the ancient facilities who control them. Yes, ever since a certain era, suitable people were included in facilities as controllers. A certain era? This person seems to be from an era even further in the past. The legend of the goddess blessed by the Lord of Water in Far Village may be based on her. Fully controlling complicated ancient facilities such as Geosis requires being on a level of an administrator. Such complicated control requires intelligence, thus administrators needed to be real human beings. That was after technology advanced, however. These ruins seem to be older and the structure is far more simpler. Thus, even an artificial life form could control it. Perhaps they didn't have the technology to use a real human yet. Artificial humans? Even we don't have that technology yet. And even if it was possible, the ethnicity of it is... The specimen is the result. It works on the technical and structural side. Thus the personality was unnecessary. You know that creatures such as slags and homunculi were manufactured before reaching this point as well, yes? Then Homura is... Hum. Anyway, the specimen was sufficient for the time. Even now it still functions and controls the facility. Don't use words like manufactured and function. She's human. Indeed. One could say that this is part of the darkness of alchemy culture. Then the Linkas are... We speak of that later. It's all a simple deduction. I always thought that alchemy is something to make people's lives and the world a better place. Me too. I thought if I study alchemy more, I could stop the drought and help everyone. It's helping us get by now, isn't it? Up to this point. This is the reality that supported us to this day. Stera, Lottie, are you going to give up on moving forward? No, we'll keep moving forward.
The purification device has turned seawater and other sources of fresh water before distributing it. As in fresh water? Water from sources in this area, and water from the Dusk Sea. All water is brought here and then purified. That's crazy. Exactly. The actions of humans are always reckless. Settlements like Stellard, that are ground level, have plentiful water, have relay versions of this device. That's why, even if the Dusk progressed, villages like Lusion downstream still had water supply to them. Your village likely has a relay device as well, Stera. That you mention it. There was an area forbidden to all but the chief. But if we have a device, then there seems to be a problem with this device. It's using much more seawater than the natural cycle can replenish. This fault comes from people thinking that seawater is limitless. In other words, when this device's intake exceeded the supply of water, it started emitting contamination. What do you mean? You're saying that the device started to break down? By the time when this device started to emit contamination, and the time when the drought started are different. So they kept it going as it was spewing pollutants. Sorry. What about that matter? Mind if I take over? Memories of the Lord of Water? Yeah, I saw them when I formed the contract. Keith, please believe her. I was there too. I never said I didn't believe her. That's why I'm here listening. Then, anyway, I'll listen. To protect this land, the Lord of Water poured her own power into the water and land itself. However, the water management device created by humans wouldn't stop, and steadily drained the water and land. Humans didn't realize this at all. They weren't generating water. They were stealing the Lord of Water's power. That's why even when the device started failing, the water supply was fine as long as the Lord of Water could hold on. That's an obvious conclusion. Humans never cared to know about what's keeping them alive. It's possible that by that time, nobody even knew about the underground facility, let alone manage it. What's the point in such a device continuing to operate? It only makes the sins of humanity grow heavier. Unfortunately, you're right. That's why the Lord of Water grew more despondent than humans. Finally, she stopped being concerned with them entirely. That's the end of my story. I hope it helps. Of course it does, Belle. Isn't that right, Keith? I never expected to gain information like this. Are you still saying you don't believe in magic? That doesn't matter. I've told you what needed to be said. What a simple-minded girl as usual. This world isn't blemished by the deeds of humans alone. The truth is far deeper. That's all I'll have to say. Right back at you. You're a stubborn old man as usual. Well then, now that you've had time to reason through this, what will you do? We need to stop the device. If we don't, the damage will just get worse, right? And what would you do if that completely stops the distribution of water? What? This thing continues to take in what little water remains. If you leave it, the water will go dry eventually. But we'll keep splitting out pollutants, but not right away. If you stop it, the natural cycle might help it recover eventually, but the chances are low. Also, even if it did, it would take an unbelievable amount of time for the water sources to go back to normal. And that time, I'm unsure if humanity will be able to survive. But we might have to accept that as the result. Yeah, though nature is pretty resilient, I'm sure it will bounce back quickly. The Lord of Water lent Master her strength, and these plants are doing so well too. Even if it's not during our lifetimes, I think nature would return to life. Think deeply about it. You're the ones who will make the decision. Lottie, let's go back to Stellard first. We can't decide this on our own. Yeah, we need to talk with Raoul and Mr. Perry and have everyone decide. Bitch, are you just what? The cutscene just ended. You've been biting my ankles for the past, 5 minutes? Come on. Oh, these guys got no experience. Okay, cool, we're back to this.
修行の役どうしようかな。
異物が見つかりましたか。
What the fuck?
ひょっとしてお宝かな。
Treasures. Yeah, yeah. What's this? Could this be treasure?
でもこれ
But what exactly is it?
なんだろう。
Mysterious item that I don't understand? That's true.
それなら誰かに聞いてみようよ。こういうお宝に詳しそうな人って誰かな。
Jury? Why did it, they didn't even come up saying, yeah, let's ask Jury. It just ended. Ah, there's our link.
次はどこだ。決めてくれ。
Let's go back to Stellar and decide if we're going to destroy this device or not. That said, going back to Pokemon, if there's ever a situation, like if I ever get like a Switch 2 and have like a proper like setup to record it, if I do start, because I've mentioned before that I'd love to cover like all the old Pokemon gens at some point, I would cover the new ones as well, if I could. Like I would, like, Gen 6 and 7 would be a pain in the ass to set up because 3DS emulation is annoying, but I would try and cover like all of them so we can actually go through it. Like, my favorite gen is Gen 4, so obviously, like, I'll be super excited to cover that, but eh. Oh, you're over there. Keith and Logi and Soul? What are they talking about? That's true. The cause of the dusk is not a natural phenomenon. I believe that's become quite obvious. It is all the result of the deeds of humans. Furthermore, humans refuse to learn from their past mistakes. But we've learned the legacy of the past, and in other words, alchemy. You can use it to prolong our existence. For better or worse, if we depend on the culture of the past, humanity has no means to survive at a fundamental level. That's why we must learn the truths of the past civilization and realize their mistakes. I agree with your assertions. However, these intellectual relics should be shared among all, not destroyed. I kind of understand how he feels. It's true that there are no small number of people who abuse alchemy. It would be better to keep such things out of their reach given the option. I realize my method is hasty, but there are far too many villains who exploit knowledge for their own filthy desires. I mean, no, Nep nowadays has a sort of set style. It's just a set style you don't really like. If we're being honest. Like, it took them a long while to get it, and Lord knows they definitely danced around the fucking bush for, like, a good number of years. But Nep nowadays kind of seemingly know what they kind of want to do and where they want to be. It's just kind of like, But I'm going to stop you short because we've argued enough and we never had a conversation about Nep that hasn't ended in me having to say yeah but, because there's a lot of negativity in your soul around Nep that I don't have and don't care to share. So I'm just going to carry on. If you mean the leaking of information, that could be a problem with Central's own administrative abilities. Serious, man? Yeah, and clearly you don't anymore. It's like the only thing I'm dreading of Nep 5. I'm going to be completely bluntly honest with you, dude. It's the same warning I gave you if I said I ever cover Persona 5. If you, like... If I will cover Nep 5 when it comes out. If you come into my chat, not starting shit as in, like, trying to cause arguments, but just bitching, you're going to get timed out, because I just want to experience it and enjoy it. Like, I'm going to be... It's the same with Persona 5. Whenever I cover Persona 5... Whenever that may be, if I suddenly start getting you in my chat going, oh, but I wish they did this, oh, I don't really like that, you're just getting timed out, because I'm not here for that when I'm playing it. If I'm going to play it, yeah, but I imagine you're still going to pop up in my chat every now and then, and you'll spot something when I'm playing and go, oh, but that seems like this and that, and I'm going to be like, I think for an individual to decide. Acceptance there. Then who will correct such defiancies in the system? The one upside is that we use advanced ancient alchemy. Considerable talent and knowledge is needed. Unfortunately, with great talent comes great ambitions. And if there is a defect in the organization of Central itself, the control of knowledge would... Seems for me, I see what he went for, fair enough. Considering the innate nature of humans, someone wicked would certainly appear. I see humans as fundamentally depraved. But we can't discard the possibility of those on the side of good would diffuse such situations. I can't say much on the subject, but considering past precedents... Hey Stera, I don't want to get involved. She's like, hey, they're being kind of scary. They're all unexpectedly argumentative. Oh, that was an important scene, huh? Uh-oh. Drought is only one part of the phenomenon known as the dusk. I told you this before. After investigating various ruins, I determined that the legacy of alchemy culture exhausted the planet itself. The symptoms are occurring in all regions, to a greater or lesser extent. To be honest, how you are with P5 now, it's kind of silly. It's kind of how I feel with Keith Griff, where like, I get why people like him. I get why people think he's so cool. He's just not my kind of character. I find him too moody, too miserable, and too negative, and I'm just like, ugh, every time he's on the screen. But I get it. I get why people like him. I get why people love his, like, piece of the story and why he is. He's just not my kind of cup of tea for a character. I don't like prosecution. I love Persona 5. I do love it wholeheartedly, but also I couldn't have been more the target audience when Persona 5 came out if I tried. Ignoring the fact that I was a teenager going through terrible circumstance that felt like an outcast of society, I was just also extremely depressed and just wanted something that made me feel like I was valid in the world. And Persona 5 felt very much tailored to precisely me, so I loved it. I was also a teenager. I was in, like, on the back end of an extremely abusive relationship, so I felt extremely isolated and outcast from all my peers and friends because I didn't want to bother them with it, so I kept away from it. You know, like, I was morbidly depressed and very not in a good way. Then Persona 5 came out about a protagonist that is an outcast of society in a terrible situation that everyone treats like shit. That is a teen, and I was just like, oh, this is me. Like, you know, that's just why I'm just like, ugh. But it's also why I'm so hesitant to go back to it, because I feel like it would drag some emotions out of me that I'm not sure if I'm ready to, like, face again all this time later, if that makes sense. Like, I'll do Persona 5 Royal, because I've never done Royal, I didn't even did Base 5. And there are things I don't like about Base 5, like the localization randomly including random transphobia for no reason. It doesn't exist in the Japanese script, but I know they got rid of that in Royal, thank God. Or how they handle, like, certain members of the cast. But on an emotional level, no, Persona 5 hit me really personally and really hard. And it was something I desperately needed, and it came out at precisely the right time for it to hit. To such an extent, I don't know if I'd be streaming, and to be blunt, I don't even know if I'd be alive if it wasn't for that coming out exactly when it did. He's facing yourself. Yeah, exactly. In other words, the dusk isn't for that purpose. It's to bring an end to the world itself. Exactly. If water dries up and the land becomes barren, creatures would die. But Colsey is a city that grew from a land with nothing. The apple orchard is growing just fine. A few other lands like that exist. Most of them have ancient underground devices to grow plants efficiently. Plants growing abundantly is evidence of a stable absorption and return cycle to the earth in that place, or... I can't say whether or not that will serve the role of reviving the power of the land. I wouldn't hold high hopes. I said I will eventually, because I want to, and there's a part of me that knows I probably should, just eventually, you know? I mean, I wouldn't have put it on the poll after we finished Persona 4 Golden if I wasn't ready to face it.
And honor that spirit. But Metaphor won because, like, and I get it, because holy shit, Metaphor's phenomenal. Metaphor's like one of my favorite Atlas games now, and I haven't even finished it yet. Like, Metaphor is insane. Especially considering how much new talent is in the team when they put that game together. It's like, well, no, they were cooking. Amu, that answer that Princess Hummingbird saw. I believe the water source of Stellard is one example of such a device allowing the land to survive for longer. Does that mean all the keys are underground here? Until I confirm with my own eyes, they're simply an inference. But the people in the past didn't just sit around waiting for their ruin, right? Didn't they try all kind of things to bring life back to the land and water? In the end, it was only a stopgap measure. It was just an effort to preserve the environment for humans. Indeed. As long as we rely on the legacy of the past, we cannot stop the dusk. We can only delay its advance. P5's awkward as fuck. It's easy to attach to. Some people like it, maybe not. But that's the thing, is like, even though, like, don't get me wrong, if you get, like, if you, like, start up bitching up a storm, if I ever play, which I don't think you would, I think you'd be, you're understanding enough that I care for it that you wouldn't do that. But if you did, I would just time you out. But equally, if and when the day comes I cover Persona 5 Royal, I hope you join me for it, because there's a lot that I would want to say throughout the journey. And that's not even including the new content that Royal added, which I haven't experienced. Which spirits in the world should be stronger than humans? Even Farmu was searching for an answer. In the past, countless spirits inhabited this planet, but now they mostly just exist in legend. But to be honest, after Metaphor's finished, I'm not going to do another calendar-based fucking Atlas game for a while. Because I usually only do like one a year at most, and I've done 2 this year, and it's like, I can feel it. I am tired. There is so much like micromanaging you have to do in them. Metaphor less so. Metaphor kind of lets you just roll with the punches a bit more, which I really do appreciate. You don't need to make anywhere near as many notes as you do in like a Persona game, for example. So I don't know anything about the new content at all, other than like Maruki exists and Kasumi exists, and there's a new dungeon after the original, after Yaldabaoth. So the game doesn't finish on Yaldabaoth anymore like it used to, which I appreciate, because the last act of the original P5 felt extremely rushed. You got like Ishido's Palace finishes, and then you just sprint to the end of the game. It's like, holy, like it's like, oh, okay, we clearly ran out of time here. What the fuck? So we can't give up. I want to believe that alchemy can be used for good too. And also, like, my love for the original P5 exists in how much P5 merch I have. I don't have, like, statues and shit, but I have a cushion that is Futaba. I have a Persona-themed t-shirt. I have a Persona 5 hoodie. I have a sweater that's got Yosuke on it. Yusuke, sorry, I went through every single letter of the alphabet, like, except the one I needed. You know, like, I have a lot of, like, clothes and, like, cushions and shit like that from Persona 5, because it was, like, my life when it came out, because it did so much to kind of give me a new perspective in the environment I was in at the time. I know Maruki will hit hard, but for a completely different reason. The English voice actor for Maruki, it was his very last performance before he tragically died of cancer. And so that his performance, I know will twinge for me, because I know it was the very last thing the voice actor did before he died. And that background knowledge will just put an extra weight on it. You know? Like, I know that's like an outside force affecting it, but for me, it's like, no, this was the very last thing he did. And so I know, like, when it gets to that, it will hit harder for me. If it does get... Because Persona has a way... Even, like, Persona 1 and 2 have a way of just getting me in the feels. They really know how to tug at my heartstrings personally, because they toy with my empathy so brutally. If Maruki's a major character in the last arc, and there's a dungeon that's tied to him, that's all I need to know. I'm like, oh, it's gonna fuck me up. Like, you know, like, I'm already like, oh, I know it's gonna be buckets, I'm gonna stall. Well, I cry at anything, you know that. Like, I'm gonna be in trouble. Anyway, that's why we wanted to give it a try, to see exactly what truth we could find through our actions. For a split second, I thought we was going to be playing as Keithgriff. This camera angle for a split second made me think I was in control of Keithgriff. I was like, what the fuck? And I was very confused for a second there. This is what I want. Like, Persona 1, unironically, the Snow Queen quest makes me, like... It doesn't make me cry, but it does, like, get to me. Because, like, the whole, like... It's the fact that it's a side quest, and it's a side quest that's as long as the game itself, which is... In of its, like... What the fuck, Atlas? Back in the 90s, Atlas were cooking like a fucking demon. What do you mean it's a side quest that's as long as the actual game itself, and has unique dungeons and a unique final boss to it? Huh? But the Snow Queen quest, when you get to the end of that, that's depressing as shit. Persona 2, the amount of main characters that die in that game or lose hope, like, it's crazy how, like, characters dying in it get to me, but what got to me the most was one of the main characters losing hope and straight up leaving your party before the end of the final dungeon because she's convinced we're all going to die. And, like, watching, like, the light fade from her eyes and her, like, in her mind realize this isn't doable. And for being a main party member the whole game, at the 11th hour, as you're about to enter the final dungeon, say, this isn't worth it, I want to spend time with my family, not with doing this suicide mission, and leave, that hit. I remember going through Persona 2 Innocent Sin and being like, oh, fuck, like, you have to go into the final dungeon a man down. Like, that hurt. Like, I've never seen any RPG since do something like that. Not have, like, a main character die. Have them outright say, we're not going to win. I'm leaving to spend time with my family. Bye. And you have to go into the end game with one less party member. And the crazy part is that she was kind of sort of right, because that's the whole reason why Eternal Punishment exists, the second half of P2, because she was kind of right. You don't solve anything. Goes in honesty. Eternal Punishment, is, hence in the name, is the repercussions of innocent sin. Which is why I think it's such a great duology, because Innocent Sin is a fully fleshed out RPG from beginning to finish, and it leaves an ending that makes you think, and Eternal Punishment is, do you really want to see the end of the rabbit hole? You can completely skip Eternal Punishment and lose nothing. Eternal Punishment is entirely there to see how far you are prepared to see the end of this road from the consequences you put in stone at the end of Innocent Sin. Which is great, because I love the fact that its subtitle, Innocent Sin, has two meanings. I love titles in games that have multiple meanings. Because the Innocent Sin is in reference to a bunch of kids playing hide and seek that realized, like, their quote-unquote big sister of the group, Maya, was trying to hide from them in, like, a shed. And so, as a joke, because these kids were little, locked the door from the outside on the shed, unaware that shed was going to catch fire soon. And so, like, they went out and went, like, to their parents and had dinner with the plan to come back in a couple hours to find Maya. And, like, they'd be all a laugh because they were idiot little kids. By the time they came back, the shed had burnt down. And although Maya survived, she got horrendous burn scars and an extreme pyrophobia that haunts her to this day. And all of those kids, including Maya, are the main cast of Persona 2. The Innocent Sin is the trauma they put on top on Maya. But the Innocent Sin is also in reference to all of their desperate effort to solve the world, resulting in them making a worse world. Their innocence to try and make things better made a sin so grave it endangered all of reality. And I love that, like, the Innocent Sin has that dual meaning. I can see my life now. So if I get my pretentious, get off my grumpy grandpa, so I have anything I want, yeah, fairs. You must be tired, right? We learned so much at once, I still feel confused. Me too. I know what we need to do, but this gloomy feeling won't go away. Yeah, I don't blame you. I felt the same way. And it added even more that when you go to Eternal Punishment, you're not playing as Tatsuya anymore, you're playing as Maya. The fact that you play as Maya, that burn victim from when they were kids, who's now a quirky 90s girl, 22-year-old photojournalist who's like vibing with life but also deeply traumatized under the surface. It's like, no, she was a great protagonist. We need more female protagonists. We need more adult protagonists, for fuck's sake. Stera, about Lucian's village drought, I think it will be solved. You really think so? Of course, not right this moment, but Lucian and the other villagers in the area grew along natural waterways. If we return to the water device to normal, and the Lord of Water forgives humans even a little, if she understands, then we might be able to live alongside nature once again. That's how I feel. Speaking of SMT, I wonder what's happening with that rumored SMT4 remaster. Because that's gone quiet for a while, but we know Atlas have confirmed themselves that they are working on more remasters of their older titles because they want them to be more accessible. So we know that it is coming, it's just, we don't know when. I would also love for them to do something with SMT 1 and 2, but I think SMT 1 and 2 are trapped in the same bubble as Persona 1 and 2, where I don't think they will ever bother. I think the only way we'll get SMT 1 and 2 back is if they just ever decide to fully remake it, and it happens to maybe include the original. Sort of like how the Marie remake handles it. I think that's the most optimistic we'll get. I don't think they'll ever just port the original games, which is a shame, because even though they are janky as shit, games from the early 90s, and you can feel that they are early 90s RPGs, back when the industry was a lot more fresh and still figuring shit out, I love them for what they are, especially SMT2. Master Wilbell! That discouraged look doesn't suit you at all, Shallie. Also, I'm a magician. I'm a different position from you alchemists. But if you're willing, please tell us what you think. Master Wilbell, please! Oh, sorry for putting on airs, but I can only talk from the point of view of a magician. Up to now, I formed contracts with the lords of wind, fire, and water. I didn't realize this when I was younger, but I do now. Spirits still live on this planet. This planet is their home. Of course they wouldn't just allow nature to fall to ruin. The spirits might not be able to forgive humanity immediately, but if we humans fix our mistakes, I think we can get along with them again someday. Shallie, you gave me courage. I'll be the one to watch over you this time. That goes for you too, Shalestra. You're an important friend of my incompetent apprentice, after all. Oh, and obviously give me Strange Journey whenever you want. Devs, please. Come on, Atlas. There's so many Atlas games that I'm just like, what? Do something with Digital Devil Saga. Do something with Devil Survivor. Do something with Soul Hackers 1. Do you know, like... we finally did something with Rido 1. Are we going to get Rido 2? I hope so. And they're able to think optimistically about everything, like Escher. That's why I can't unconditionally believe that if we stop the device, nature has the strength left to recover. It's true that we have no basis to believe that. When you put it that way, you're right, but still. Yeah, even considering that, I think it's wrong to leave a broken device running on its own. I only just recently came to this city, so my words might not mean much. But ignoring a mistake won't solve anything. In fact, it would only magnify the damage done. If I couldn't face my mistakes, I would never have been able to work on developing airships again. Airships? Yeah, Escher gave me the courage. That's why we were able to reach the unexplored ruins and reconcile with Flamio. If this was a mistake committed by humans, we humans may still be able to fix it. That's what I believe. I want to do all of these scenes before I stop, because I am kind of getting tired. Where I am plus still a little under the weather, and I said any more hours than 2 I'll take. In fact, we've been going for 2.5, so we've done all right. But I am kind of wearing thin a little bit, so I want to do these scenes and probably call it a stream, and then we'll try and do more tomorrow. Because I want to try and get this finished this week. If I don't by Saturday, I might do some more on Sunday, but we'll see. Is the seed you received from your friend, Escher? Flamu was it? You said she became a controller or something?
Yeah, in an ancient ruin called Geosis, built to bring life back to the land. Flamer had lost hope, but she found new hope, so she decided to support us. That's why I want to believe in her. This land has the power to come back to life. No, I do believe. We've made many mistakes, reflected on them and tried again. That's why I'm sure we can stop the dusk.
Oh, isn't the Shallies?
Unusual to see you away from your desk, Sol. I require time to rest my mind as well, you know. To be honest, the current matter has forced me to think quite a lot. How can I report this to Central? How to report it? Yes, it's true that Central seeks countermeasures against the dusk. It's quite urgent after all. However, at the same time, they seek technological relics of the ancient era. Do you get what that means? They haven't learned from the past, and they want to revive alchemy culture, is that right? I'm simply an official. I may be worrying about things beyond my position. Then, are they making artificial humans like Linka? With our current technology, creating artificial life forms would be a dream beyond our dreams. After seeing creations like her, I started to think about what exactly I need to do. As an official, I naturally seek a solution to the drought. But what decisions are necessary, and what would result from such a thing? Right, Miruka. Shallie. Will my opinion even be helpful? You should already know this, Shal. I don't like humans. We're selfish and foolish and pretentious and greedy. It falling to ruin is our fate, so be it. Miruka. But that's also why I think we humans need to take responsibility. We need to know that much shame at least. I don't know if the alchemy we learned has caused more good or bad up until now. That's why we need to pay back our debts as much as possible. If not, we would simply be fools as well. I've believed this since I was in Central. In the past, I thought the people in Central would believe it too. But this matter has fully convinced me we can't leave a broken relic on the past as it is now. Even if the result is a drought that wipes out humanity. You are thinking like that, Miruka? Shallie, if you want to hate me, go ahead. Hey, why do you always say things like that, Miruka? What? I think you're great, Miruka. I probably would have never thought that way. Yeah, I can sympathize with your feelings too, Miruka. I see. I'm glad I was of use. Also, if we have stupidly earnest people like you two, I'm sure humanity won't perish. Hey, Linka, we saw you naked. I mean, we saw a clone of you naked. I mean, we saw you in a chamber. You're a robot. Told Linka about the person who looked just like her in the underground garden. To tell the truth, I already had the feeling that my sisters and I were created through unnatural means. I have memories of escaping from a dark place with my sisters when we were very young, led out by someone. After that, we sisters were split up. So the dark place was an underground facility. I haven't seen it for myself, so I can't be sure, but that's likely it. I didn't know about the existence of artificial life forms, so I thought we had fled from some sort of institution. The Linka in Colseat said that she met Linka number 3, and that her personality was completely different. She seemed to want to find her long-lost sisters, but she also wanted to know the reason why she was born. I don't know how my sisters feel, but I, for one, don't really care to know the truth. My life right now is everything to me. I have no need to change that. Miss Linka, I still have mixed feelings about wanting to know, and not wanting to know. Who am I, and why was I created? That reminds me, Keithcliff mentioned something before. You said that ancient alchemists were researching to create something greater than automatons or homunculi. Humans. And instead of just having sex like a normal person, they decided to go into deep alchemy that destroyed the world. I'm starting to think all the ancient alchemists were just a bunch of fucking insults. Anyway, I understand why Keith has such mixed feelings towards alchemy. But still, I'm glad to have met you, Miss Linka. You helped me so many times, while I was still getting used to Mr. Perian's behaviour. It's true that the chairman's behaviour can cause misunderstandings. Still, one day I hope to go and meet the other me, deep underground. Aisha and and Linka. Could this be? I see. So one of our sisters went to challenge the youngest. I'm sure that caused much anxiety. Yeah, we were being targeted by another sister. I met her, but the only similarity was her appearance. The linker that Aisha got to know is in call seat with Marion right now. I miss Marion. I miss Marion. She was so cool. Oh, but the one who came to visit Coal Seat was the third one. She was a very cheerful girl. For better or for worse, none of our sisters have come to visit me yet. I only lived with the youngest during our childhood. She was rather awkward ever since then. You don't want to meet the other linkers, right? Yes, for now at least. I'm happy enough working as a chairman's secretary. I see. Not even the linker in Coal Seat? It sounds like the youngest is living happily in Coal Seat. Yeah, she's still working with Marion. She doesn't care for paperwork much, but she gets along with everyone. I see. I'm happy if the youngest is living a happy life. But you're right. I do want to meet the youngest someday. To be honest, for some reason I still remember her, as with everyone else. I have no idea why. It's possible that part of her was similar to me. She was also like was best girl, but Linker's smiling. Makes me feel happy too.
I see. So there was a larger water device than in Stellard.
Yes. We think we should stop the purification device. At this rate, all water sources will end up dry, like the Dusk Sea.
What would happen if the city... if you shut it down? It would no longer be an oasis. The water would drop to incomparable levels.
Still, at this rate, the water in all towns, not just Stellard, will go dry. That's why...
Sounds like it's decided. There's no room for argument. Go shut the device down. I don't like it. What? As a city of water, Stellard has great influence over the settlements around it and Central. If the water is lost, Stellard will lose its reputation.
Wait a minute, please don't tell me you're not trying to save face at a time like this, Chairman. Now's the time to think about water everywhere, not just our own town.
Saving face. I guess I can't help that you'd feel that way. I just want to protect the city's honor and prosperity. Yeah, tough shit. You're turning off the device. Before the city, it was known as Stellard. It was known as the City of Water. There was no guess to why people gathered here for its water. It's essential to agriculture, after all. This is auto-advancing, so I just have to let it play. Settlements started dotting the area in pursuit of water, and Stellard grew as a city. It became a hub of commerce and production, and developed quickly. But other than Stellard, the region wasn't as abundant with water sources. Conflicts over water erupted between settlements, and the gap between classes got bigger. It wasn't the disparity you see in Stellar today. Those with water survived. Those without. People cannot survive without water. That's why Stellard started using its water supply control system to manage the water. It was to distribute it to places that need it and prevent wasting it. That's how the city continued to protect the water for the region. The Parian family has worked to manage the water for generations. If we can't control the water, conflicts will start happening again. And mostly, Stellard is hope for people suffering from lack of water. If the water here dissipates, the hope will disappear from everyone in the region. I can't agree about shutting down the device. But if we don't, it's going to go anyway. Still, Chairman. I know, there is no other way. I just don't want to see the city wither away. Do whatever you like. Parian, I'm sorry. It'll be okay, Parian. This town is really strong. Even without water, Stellard will still be Stellard. Of course. Oh, and now... Okay, I get it. Yeah. Now we've talked to everyone, we're technically... Oh, fucking hell. We're technically done for now. But I am going to call it a stream here. Tomorrow we'll do more, because my throat's getting a little tired as well. I just need to kind of stop. I'm all sweaty. I want to get some food. There. All gross adult things, and you're feeling a little under the weather. And I got work later, so I got to, like, be somewhat functional. So we'll do all that tomorrow. And try and break into chapter 10 tomorrow as well, which I believe is the last chapter of the game. That being said, thank you all so much for watching. Oh, new costumes have been added. Nice. Of course, this Sophie style. I think we already got that. And thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It genuinely helps the channel grow. Additionally, you can find... Oh, you got costumes. My Patreon and BlueSky in the description of every single video. But until then, you guys take care now. Oh my god. So I'm just going through them all just whilst I'm here. No, there's nothing interesting. Anyway, bye guys.